Hello and welcome to this special presentation. I'm Jonathan Mann. 7 years ago, Sorius Samora brought us the shocking documentary Cry Freetown, with its first-person account of Sierra Leone's civil war, a conflict fought in part over the country's diamond riches. Over the next hour, we bring you Blood on the Stone, Samora's new documentary about the illicit diamond trade. But first, Samora talks to Leonardo DiCaprio, who he met on the set of Blood Diamond. Samora was a consultant on the movie. He also became a friend and inspiration to the cast and crew.
Now, my bro, tell me, you got that call from Ed's Week, and he said to you, Blood Diamond. Clearly, you must have thought twice. What was it that inspired you to make this film, and how did you prepare for it?
Well, it's really not an often occurrence within the Hollywood studio system that they make a film on this sort of epic scale with this type of drama that does deal with something pertinent and modern in the world we live in, and does deal with an issue like conflict diamonds. So I really jumped at the opportunity because I know that, Hollywood ultimately wants to do what's financially feasible for them and is a smart investment. And this was a big risk for them in a lot of ways. Traditionally films that are this politically charged have been done on much smaller levels. Ultimately, I want to see more movies like this, films that have something really important to say about our world, and hopefully if this movie does well enough, people see it, it will endorse the studio systems to make more films like this in the future,
But were you aware of Blood Diamonds prior to this movie?
Was I aware of it? I knew the tagline. I heard of the term conflict diamonds. I heard the term blood diamonds, but it really wasn't until I started to do the research for this movie where I really started to prepare and, in essence, watched your documentary, Cry Freetown. Ed Zwick really used most of the depictions of violence and the atrocities that occurred in Sierra Leone from the work that you did on that documentary, and we all watched it, and you were a tremendous advisor for all of us. For me, in the preparation, I certainly wanted to go to Africa as early as I possibly could to hear the real stories, to talk to real mercenaries, to do military training, to get the attitudes of some of these South African men that have fought in different wars like Angola, who've been into Sierra Leone, who've dealt in the black market. There's only so much you could do research-wise sitting here in, Hollywood. You have to go there and immerse yourself in the culture.
I know it was a very difficult time working in Africa. What exactly did you take away from Africa? What would you want viewers, people who see this film, to take away from this film?
Well, it was hard to play a character like this. It really was. We shot in Mozambique, which doubled for Sierra Leone, and we were, in an impoverished country where, they just recently sort of had an economic resurgence, but for 30 years they dealt with civil war there, And I was playing a character that was a white man taking advantage of another African man, surrounded by an African crew, and saying derogatory and insulting things to him and manipulating him for his own advantage. And there was, I suppose you could say some symbolism there, but it posed a lot of uncomfortable moments, certainly on set.
What do you know of my family?
The relief agencies are useless. The hospitals are overwhelmed. There are other ways, bro.
Liar!
Look at me. I know people, huh? White people. Without me, you're just another black man in Africa, all right? You got no time. What's it gonna be, bro?
You will say anything. How can I trust you?
All right, that diamond could be priceless. We split it and you get your family. What's it gonna be? Yes or no? Yes or no?
Where do we go?
But I think that certainly the crew and everyone that worked on the movie knew that this film had ultimately a great message, and we needed to show the ugly side too. And I don't think anything in this film at all, certainly after seeing your documentary, I don't think anything in this film is at all exaggerated. You know what I mean? There's no depiction of violence. If anything, we held stuff back from what really occurred, and you know that. You were in it.
I totally agree. As an actor, what was the most impactful moment in this film for you, and why?
The most impactful moment was certainly, and I think this is what the movie ultimately did. It put a human story to the issue of Conflict Diamonds, and that the heart and soul of the movie is with the child, you know, and Diamond being reunited with his son.
I know they made you do bad things, but you're not a bad boy. I am your father, who loves you. And you will come home with me and be my son again.